What is up, YouTube? Hello, I was inspired to make some content today, but I'm actually kind of sick, so don't want to do a full stream. Instead, just wanted to share that somehow the arena devs found the perfect moment right after I just rebought in for the first time in like, I want to say over 2 years. It's been a while since I got my credit card back out to get the old gems back into the positive numbers, the 5 digits or whatever, and then boom, they hit me with Omniscience draft. How dare. This has got to be the set that has had Omniscience draft on Arena that is the most busted. I think it's actually more full of draw twos than Dominaria. Plus, it's got multiple storm winds, like at common, basically. You've got Mysidian Elder, and then a Black Waltz at uncommon, along with Black Mage's Rod at uncommon. Also, on the bonus sheet, there's Laboratory Maniac, so just all kinds of ways to immediately win the game on your first turn before your opponents even had a turn. And my wife would like to chime in on this YouTube video with the following question. Where is the stuff? Could be in the bathroom. If it's not with the medicine, I would check the bathroom. Okay. Yeah, so if you lose the die roll, you probably just lose the game. There's nothing you can do about it. This format is just for absolutely degenerate sickos. If you do manage to draft a lot of counterspells and you have an instant speed draw two, like Laughing Mad, you could consider, keeping and digging for that immediately, or you could. This is fine. They don't have a creature. They don't have a creature to kill. Totally fine. It's just Black Mage's Rod. This is incredible. Mech for Grizzly or Mecha Grizzly or whatever, absolutely showing me how it's done here. This is the best first 3 spells I've ever seen in the format. I'm almost certainly going to die this turn. But sorry, they have another Ether. Ether's a little bit sketchy because it does nothing on its own. But if you have enough Travel the Overworlds, etc., totally fine. Are we just rocking another draw 4, or is it time for the combat tutorial? Maybe Laughing Mad. Sure, Laughing Mad. The one I was able to pick up a bunch for this deck is Fight On, so that gets a little better with any of the creatures that also do something. Okay, now we got 8 non-creature spells left before we're dead. They've spent some of their mana, so Dreams of Laguna does only count as 1. But we are, I would say at this point, it looks like 90% likely to just lose before we get to untap. We're gonna find out here. Sorry, I was saying if you do have a lot of interaction and you lost the die roll, you can mulligan to try to find that interaction. With this hand though, like I have a really high chance to win the game if I untap, so it's not worth it for me. Like this is an absolutely fantastic turn 1. I would say it's arguably even better than our opponent's Black Mage into double travel because it has this protection. Right, like this isn't as good as a Travel the Overworld, but it's still good. So, yeah, I mean, it's not the raw power of cornered Ether Travel, but heck dies to stuff like last card I kept as Counterspell is pretty nice, right? As I said though, this game probably going to be the last of this tournament deck. Oh, Red Mage's Rapier combined with a haste creature. That's another way you can storm out and win turn 1. I have Red Mages and a haste Mountain Cycler in my deck, and that's one of the things you can do. So yeah, Ifrit, really good. Sort of like Ether, needs something else to happen. Destroying our own Phoenix down just to cast a spell. Absolutely love it. Total sicko mode. Okay, so the good news is we get to draft again. Are you sure? Not anymore, to be honest. I'm not really, truly sure. Okay, this pack's super duper bad. It is quick draft. It's all the same exact rules as quick draft, by the way. If you have never played Omniscience draft, you're playing quick draft. It's quick draft, entry fee, and prizes, and quick draft rules in the draft as well. I guess Rook Turret is kind of an angle. Thief's Knife paired with a haste creature, I guess at least you draw cards, so both these blue cards are in consideration. The Jumbo Cactuar, if you can give a trample and haste, that is a way to win. There's the self-destruct. So if you can hit Jumbo Cactuar with the haste magic and the self-destruct, that is a combo. So we could consider Jumbo Cactuar for that reason. Rook Turret is kind of the like safest pick because sort of like Guardian Force Ifrit like combines with another thing in order to draw a card. It does say draw a card in it, and that's what we're looking for. We just want to jam our deck. You know, the base level, at least level 1 of these Omniscience draft decks is just try to get as many cards as say draw 2, and then if you can't get that, get cards say draw 1. Let's go spicy for content though. We'll take Jumbo Cactuar. It's not like we're passing Travel the Overworld there, you know. We are going to take Travel the Overworld, but in this pack, it's worth knowing there's a Sorcerer Scheme, Streams of Laguna, Cornered by Black Mages, Fight On. These are all pretty solid. And then that's about it. Okay. Syncopate, while counterspells are great, Syncopate is kind of unfortunate because your opponent also has access to the same 5 real mana per turn that you do. And I don't even know... I haven't tried to cast it in this format yet, but I imagine that you can go Syncopate for 4, right? Which is super awkward, right? They're going to be able to pay it for sure, and then unless they've used all their mana, and then you can cast a counter spell. So it's just not really a safe pick. Airship Crash has cycling, and Arimon says you can spend your mana and sacrifice another creature to draw cards. That can be kind of good. You can draw 2 cards a turn with Arimon. Airship Crash does also destroy like a black waltz number 3, so I kind of like it a bit more for that reason. Okay, Fight On, Call the Mountain, and Commune, all sort of low-key draw card along with Cycling Capital City. That can work. My last deck had Call the Mountain, Chocobo, and I was actually pretty happy with it. It's 2 non-creature spells you can cast for your Black Mage's Rod. You can just include a couple of mountains in your deck instead of some other filler, and that way you're putting a card in your hand when you cast it. I think we have to commune with beavers here. We could also try to be on Fang plus Fight On strategy. We'd only want to take 1. I think the first commune with beavers is probably better than the first Fang, though. Shadowbringers is totally fine. We are not doing well. We only have 1 card draw in our first pack. Things are looking dire. Okay, this isn't our pack, but I guess Rook Turret and Thief's Knife are on the same situation here. I guess Rook Turret is a higher pick than Thief's Knife. I'm sorry to say. Okay, Mysidian Elder's great. Instant Ramen draws a card, plus we have a Rook Turret, so unfortunately I think we do have to take the Instant Ramen. Okay, multiple Rook Turrets can be a plan. Sorceress' Schemes and Fight On are both great. Which one do we want? I guess we have Travel the Overworld, so we should probably take Sorceress' Schemes. Okay. This you can sacrifice to Arimon twice. This doesn't really work the way you want it to in Omniscience, right? It's like you have to actually cast the spell, but we do have at least 1 flashback spell. Actually, we have 2 flashback spells, don't we? So both these flashback spells will work with Blazing Bomb. This is just a 4/4. You're not going to get 7 lands. So I guess I am going to include one of these cards in my deck. It's probably the Blazing Bomb. Yeah, more Rook Turrets the better, hey? Okay. All right. So we've got this Rook Turret plan. This is far too much mana to ever be able to come together, which is too bad because a Time Walk effect in this format is absolutely fantastic. You could maybe try to draft Lucy E and play multiple lands and try to make this happen, but I don't think it's going to be worth it for you. Go-Go's not as good as Travel the Overworld, but Go-Go's probably playable. In our deck, we don't have anything at all yet, but I could see a world in this format where this card makes the cut and is okay. Ooh, this is the only time that we're going to easily cast and consider Joda in Final Fantasy Limited. I've never seen a single Joda deck in all the real drafts I've done. This draws cards, right? When you cast a legendary spell from your hand, exile cards on top of your library until you exile another legendary with lesser mana value. Okay, so sort of like Rook Turret, right? Like Joda combines with another card to do something. It's probably not as good as Weapons Vendor, right? This draws another card immediately every time. Okay, I like a Heck Dies. Yeah, the Final Day is good with if you take Ahriman, you know, or anything else that sacrifices creatures. You know, this is 2 creatures you can sacrifice. Yeah, it's going to be Heck Dies for me here. There's also just an 8/8. You're generally not going to have any lands at all in play, especially not non-basics, but it's still an 8/8. And in this deck, it's an artifact as well. Okay, this says draw a card. This also says draw a card, and it's a non-creature spell. So these two, and like getting a treasure token is not nothing, like especially in this deck. I think it actually might be the rivalry for us. I like an Anima if you have, like when you have this card in your deck, it actually gets even better. There's a chance this one tables. Okay, here's that Ahriman we were talking about. Mysidian Elder, also really good. Now, I should say, Haste Magic, we mentioned before, it's good with Jumbo Cactuar, but actually, the card that you're exiling off the top, you can't use your Omniscience Emblem for it. So it's not like an incredible combo, you know, like we're talking about with the Black Mage's Rods and casting 10 spells or whatever. This is actually a tough pick. We do have this Jumbo Cactuar, so it would be nice if we had kind of a plan, if we're able to just like use our Rook turrets and our random equipments and stuff to loot through our entire deck and find 3 spells. It would be good to have them. I'm just not sure if it's worth taking Haste Magic here over Resentful Revelation. We also could like we don't have the self-destruct yet, and that's an uncommon, and like you can also just hope to get to attack, right? Like you don't always die every single turn that someone takes a turn in this format. Yeah. As much as I love Mysidian Elder, Resentful Revelation needs to come first. This doesn't do anything, unfortunately. Okay, so there's an Ahriman here that can draw cards, or we can take a Mysidian Elder. We're not getting a regular good card out of this pack, which is totally fine. So this is like a bit safer, and this is like a bit more interesting, right? Like the situations where Ahriman moving your creatures around, turning your otherwise useless creatures into cards, or your spare artifacts into cards. It's limited once per turn, uses 3 of your mana up, but still might be pretty good. I'm going to take the Elder this time. Okay, Blitzball is a draw 2. You do need to have the legendary creatures to turn it on. The best one in this format I've seen so far is getting that Black Welt's number 3. But still, it's a totally relevant card in the format. I also like Valkyrie Aerial Unit. Surveil 2 isn't as good as draw card, but close. It's kind of with 3 Rook turrets. I think this Valkyrie Aerial Unit might actually be better than a Mysidian Elder. As strange as that feels to say. Okay, Kirkin is sort of vaguely playable. You know, if you untap with it, you can use your mana to at least loot. And then this is a random artifact. If we want to say our deck has just always got a Rook turret in play, and so we just keep these, that's fine. I'm not willing to do that, though, because I don't have any yet, but I'll probably get a fight on, so I'm going to lean towards artifacts that are also creatures. I think for this is a little awkward, because I do have to play one of these cards, and none of these are great. I think I'm just going to play Kirk. It's sort of the safest. Okay, here's a fight on. This is like a draw 2. Excuse me. I had an opponent playing Galuf. I think this is very bottom of the barrel for the format. Much happier with second Kirk. Okay, world map. I think we're going to already play a mountain or 2 for Chocobo, so maybe world map is worth it because of the 3 Rook turrets. The only other options are like keep your creature alive. I mean, you could maybe be playing Resto if you're all in on Jumbo, but otherwise, you know, random creature. It's like world map versus random creature. The problem with world map is it doesn't really do anything. So you need to be like already really flush with cards in order to have the privilege to cast it after you have a Rook turret in play. So for that reason, I'm just going to go with Ice Flan. This is kind of cool tech. I think this card's probably more relevant in this format than any other one. Wow, such a late Basidian Elder. Or we could take the Haste Magic. Sorry, Jumbo Cactuar. It's not you, it's me. Triple Triad's pretty funny. It waits until your upkeep to do anything. It also exiles the card. But it lets you play it without spending it. So it's like, for every turn, if you can manage to draft a bunch of counterspells, this card's kind of sweet. Ironically, you're not going to get to play those counterspells off the top with this, but in a deck where you can push the game later, this becomes okay. We've got a combat tutorial, so we're going to take that. I did see an opponent recently playing this Reach the Horizon, so I guess this is also kind of playable. I prefer Mountain Chocobo so far. Getting back from this pack, we might have a Helgigas. Oops. Oof, it's been a rough one. This says draw card. Yeah, this card's totally fine. Gigantic Elvish Visionary. Realm Sketching or Combat Tutorial. So for the sketching, we actually have a couple of real hits. We've got this thing we just picked up, or one of our Rook turrets that lets you at least, triple loot or whatever, double loot the sketching, but I guess it's got to be Combat Tutorial. It's not actually that close. All right, Ether seems like turns out it's playable. Just combine it with one of your draw twos. There's a Black Mage Rod or Laughing Mad. Now, we do already have a couple of Basidian Elders, so I guess we have to take Laughing Mad. Normally, this is a lot easier to find. We just didn't have very many in the packs for this draft. I don't really want a second Mountain Chocobo. I'm more interested in this Ahriman this time. There's also Surveil hits for Rook Turret. Poison the Waters, Haste Magic, 4th Rook Turret. Interesting. Okay, so hand attack is generally pretty good, especially if you win the die roll. 4th Rook Turret is decent for what we're doing. Haste Magic doesn't really matter that much because we don't have the suplex. The self-destruct. We don't have the self-destruct. So if we had had the self-destruct, one of these Haste Magics would have gotten picked by now. Red Mage's Rapier is also like a win condition, a little bit like Basidian Elder, where, if you have a haste creature, you can aim to win the game on turn 1. I'm just not... I guess I already have a Hecdize. Yeah, I'm going to take the 4th Rook Turret instead of Poison the Waters here. Oh, wow, that's a late combat tutorial. Lucky me. Okay, it's first Helgigas or second Ahriman. How many dumb creatures do I have? I do have one copy of Fight On. I have to play Cut Rub. I have Item Shopkeep. I actually have quite a few dummies that I would love to sacrifice. And I don't know if Haste 5/4 super matters to my deck. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm not looking to win the game on turn 1. I would love to just get another real counterspell, but I think actually my turn 1 win is going to involve hitting Hecdize, sacrificing it, bringing it back, playing Hecdize again, and then going from there. We're going to cycle Capital City on this pack. This is great. I think this is better than this. We're going to check, actually. Artifact, Creature, Land. Between those, yeah... It's 27. We're playing 27 hits. So that's pretty good to get 1 in the 3. You know what? Sure. We'll take Beaver's number 2 instead of the other thing. I guess maybe there's a potential hilarious turn 1, right? Okay, we get to cut 1 card. Oh, we're gonna add or we're gonna add 2 mountains for Chocobo. That's a decision, actually. We could just cut Chocobo instead. We don't have any of the blue-red cares about spending 4 real mana on a card, although we do have this Resentful Revelation, which you get to cast the backside of if you also have Call the Mountain Chocobo and 2 mountains, right? You have to spend a turn doing it, but it means you get to cast the back half of your Resentful Revelation. We also have a card that makes a treasure, so like Lunatic could be turned on. I think I'm just going to cut Lunatic Pandora because I don't really have time to be surveilling one a bunch. Although it does fit in nicely with my Arimon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This haste magic's not that bad. I only have like 6 full-on misses. I'm trying to decide whether I'm putting these mountains in or not. Like, I'd have to cut... Maybe... Yeah. Maybe I'm just playing Call the Mountain Chocobo and Capital City and 1 treasure token. I have any other ways to make mana? Kirk also lets you draw 3 cards if you... No, I think I'm putting the 2 mountains in because, look, I can draw 3 off of hitting the 2 mountains with 3 different Kirkin merchants. So we should probably make that happen. I don't think we need Ice Flan. And Kutcher Fourier, Airship Crash, both pretty cute. This is sort of the tech, like it does beat their flashback spells. Oh, Item Shop keeps doing absolutely nothing in my deck. Right? Just makes my Warrior's Sword do a thing. Yeah, let's cut Item Shop keep. Still play Cut Red. We'll cut these 2 random creatures and add 2 mountains. If we're playing 3 lands. This is the most lands I've ever played in an Omni draft. Okay, and then we'll jam one more game here. It's too bad we didn't get the self-destruct, man. And then we'll say goodnight for this little piece of Omni Draft content. Thanks very much for watching me today. I usually show up with my face, but I am not super well today, but really wanted to share something with y'all. I also have a Twitch channel, and I'm a member of Loading Ray Run. I do that a lot. Hey, I won the die roll. Okay, great. So we don't have the thing. They do have something they can do. Are they going to counter this Traveling Overworld? I tried to give them a little bait spell, you know. Okay. Things are going well. Okay, let's cast this one. Good. What's first? We have 2 creatures in here? No. Okay. Right. I wish I had more of these idiots. Oh, I know. I can get more of these idiots. Right. What if we just had more of these idiots? No, we're going to not mill ourselves out completely here. Let's play this land, even. Extremely cocky. And then let's fight on. Get these 2 dum-dums back. Put this idiot in play. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, we've got to cast 7 more spells. Non-creature spells. Hopefully we can get there. want to do this. That's a non-creature spell right there. I don't have another Mysidian Elder, do I? No, not in my hand right now. I think we got there, though. Yeah. Okay, so that's Omniscience draft. It looks like that. Winning the die rolls, really important. Thanks for watching!